Hey everyone, this is Daniel,
And I'm June,
and we are
Korean.
American.
Hey Daniel,
Morning.
morning. The weather is crazy.
Really crazy.
Yeah, yesterday especially.
It was hailing.
It was hailing.
It hailed for like a minute.
I rode a bus to Seoul,
Yeah.
and literally like the weather changed by every block. It's crazy. This is some kind of
Yeah.
like micro, like super
Climates.
localized weather
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
It was crazy. We were at home. We had a very, very lazy Sunday. But all of a sudden, like, I don't know, it was like 11, 10 a.m., 10 in the morning, right? It got super dark. Like, it was like night. And then our kids were like, what's going on? And then it started hailing, and the wind was crazy. It was blowing like nuts. Yeah, my kids were very scared. They thought it was the end of the world.
Do you know what a yobi is? Like a
Fox
fox rain.
rain, no, no.
I think they call it yobi
Uh-huh.
when the sun is up, but then it's also raining.
Hold on.
Yeah.
My my mom growing up told me it was lion's pee. Like Sacha Ojum, is that a thing?
Really? No.
Can you Google it on Naver? Is that a saying?
I've never heard of it. Do you know that you just said can you Google it on Naver?
Yes, please Google it on Naver.
No, there's no such thing as 하자오죠.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna have to talk to my mom.
Is it 호랑이?
Yobi, that's what it's officially called.
Yeah, I think so.
My mom definitely told me it was lion's pee. Yeah, when it.
Maybe that's what she meant.
Anyway,
Ah,
there's an old saying originating from the 70s. No, I don't know.
there is.
Oh, there is.
Yeah, but
Okay.
yeah. It's like a folklore
Yeah.
where when the fox gets married, this happens.
Oh, the fox rain, Yobi. Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing about lions still.
No.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's not lion something because lions never existed in Korea.
Fine. Tiger maybe.
It could be related to tiger.
Tiger pea. Can you look up tiger pea rain? Sunny. Also, neighbor search. I don't trust it. Yeah. Is it the same keyword search? Like if you just type in four keywords, will it match relevant blog posts and stuff?
I think it will.
Okay. Okay.
오, yes.
Oh, tiger's pea.
옛날 같으면 호랑이 오줌 싼다고
There we go.
표현을
Okay, tiger's pea,
했는데.
not lion. Yeah.
Oh, I've never heard of this.
It's funny in my mind. I think lion is yellow, so it makes more sense for it to be lion's pea. But I'm sure my mom had told me tiger's pea. I don't know. I mean, 호랑이, yeah, 호랑이 오줌. Okay, okay.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Today I learned.
June, is this a controversial thing in Korea too? Is the sun orange or yellow?
Oh, it's never orange.
It's never orange.
Yeah.
It's always yellow.
Yes.
Ah, okay, okay.
I think, is it orange? I think it's always yellow.
Okay, okay.
Why is this a controversy?
It's like a mild debate sometimes, and then there's a pretty famous kids book called "The Day the Crayons Quit," I think. And anyway, it personifies the crayons like character by character. And I think yellow and orange are having beef because they're like, "I'm the true color of the sun. No, I'm the true color of the sun." So yeah,
I think color is tricky because it's always relative and subjective. Like I was thinking the other day, why do we call white wine white wine? It's because it's red wine. If there was a whiter version of wine, that wine would be called like yellow wine, right?
I see, I see.
Yeah.
Someone told me too recently, blue didn't exist until like
Like the color or the
the
definition.
definition of blue. Yeah, so a lot of references to blue historically. Sorry, a lot of references to blue historically where it was just called green. It was a different shade of green. So they just didn't call it a different color.
Ah,
I don't know all the
the
details.
Chinese character for blue and green are the same.
But, oh, see, yeah.
And so I think in like traditional Asian culture, both colors are pretty blurred. Yeah.
See, it blew my mind when I learned that. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, even in Korean, like the word 푸른 could both refer to something green and blue.
okay.
Yeah.
The reason why this came up, by the way, my kids, they were like giving me trivia. Apparently, the original color associated with St. Patrick's Day in Ireland was
Is blue?
Yeah, not green.
Interesting.
And then I went into the ChatGPT rabbit hole of researching when it changed to green and why.
Did you Google on ChatGPT?
Funny enough, I use ChatGPT as a verb now. So I
Oh.
ChatGPT'd it. I did it. I did not Google it
That's like every tech product stream.
to become a verb.
Yeah. I Googled something.
Oh, dude, yeah. I mean, Yagi was gonna get there.
Yeah.
I Yagi'd it. Why don't you go give it a listen? Anyway, June, other thing before we get into our topic today, it's kind of related. I am sacrificing a lot for this recording this morning.
Why?
Do you know what major sports things are happening in the world right now as we speak?
Not like really so much of a sports follower. The World Cup, the pre-games of the World Cup is happening.
No. It's the most popular solo sport in Korea, I would imagine.
Solo sport? Solo sport.
Come on.
Yeah, I think you're referring to golf.
Golf, yeah. It is the Masters. So there are 4 major championships or tournaments. I don't know what they're called. Events in golf.
Yeah.
And it is the last round of the Masters. I think broadcast started for the final pairings or the final group at around 2, 3 a.m. I was not up since then, but as soon as I woke up, I turned it on. We can do it now because it's not spoiling anything by the time this releases. They're in the playoff round. Like the top 2 players tied.
Oh, really?
And so now they're doing
Who are they?
Playoffs. One is Rory McIlroy.
Oh, he's still on the top. he's been there forever.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan, but you
Yeah.
know, casual sports fan, and I like watching.
By the way, it's the
majors.
first time that I've heard his name pronounced like
As an American.
Yeah, as an American.
Wait, don't tell me. Korean would probably pronounce it. Oh, that L and R's are hard. Rory
Yeah.
McIlroy.
Pretty much. I think it's Rory McIlroy.
McIlroy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I've never heard. It sounded so foreign to me.
Honestly, Rory McIlroy has to be one of the hardest names for Koreans to pronounce. Anyway, I think it's Justin Rose who was the leader for the first 2 rounds, but then fell off a bit in round 3, but had a crazy 4th round. Anyway, it's the playoffs right now. Like they're doing. I don't even know what it's called.
Oh, sorry.
Overtime.
Can I just mention
name?
one more thing about the name? I think the hardest name for Koreans to pronounce is Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I think Korean people at some point just gave up and started calling him the Terminator.
That's so good. Wait, how would Koreans pronounce this?
I think it's like Schwarzenegger. Like how many syllables? Schwarzenegger.
Like 6 or
versus like
7.
Schwarzenegger. It's 3 syllables.
Schwarzenegger. No, there's 4 in the US.
Wait, Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think I would pronounce it Schwarzenegger.
Oh, you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's like 3 to 4, right?
But it's
like
like 6.
Schwarzenegger. It's 6.
6.
Yeah.
Arnold.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So it's the playoffs of that. I don't know what it's called in golf. The extra.
Yeah.
It got tied, and so now they're doing a
Wait, who's the other guy?
Justin Rose, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, I've never heard of this person.
And also, not only that, June. It's a sports person's dream right now. You know, Monday mornings in Korea, it's Sunday evenings in the US. So it's literally the final game of the regular season for the NBA. And you know, my team, my second team, the Golden State Warriors, they were playing the Clippers, and basically whoever won this game was guaranteed a playoff entry. And if you lose, you have to go into the play-in, which means you have to win again to get into the playoffs anyway.
How many tickets for the play-in? 1?
Oh, what do you mean? Oh, the play-in. Yeah, they have a weird playoff mini series for the bottom 4 teams. So actually, I think the Warriors would probably just need to win once.
No, how many goes up to the playoffs if they win the play-ins?
Oh, so
How many golden tickets?
8 teams on each division conference. 8 teams per conference.
Yeah.
And then basically they go 1 through 10, and they have a mini playoff for 6 through 10 in each division.
Okay.
And so if you're in the top, if you win, you're in. If you lose, you have to play again. So either you have to win 1 or 2 to get in. But anyway, it's all up to like, you know, you don't want to leave it down to one game whether you can make it to the playoffs or not. And that game was in overtime too.
Oh, really?
So I don't actually know what's happening. I'm gonna watch it later. But it's like the only thing in this world that I have
I have huge respect for you because I know how much you like baseball, basketball.
Not only that, live sports, June.
Yeah.
Live sports. That's the only thing left in this world
Should we
to
shift?
enjoy live.
Should we record on some other day?
No, by now it's already over, at least the basketball
Uh,
one. Uh,
but we're
yeah.
but we're recording for that very same reason. We're recording on Monday for that very same reason
Oh, yeah, yeah.
because it's a Sunday in the U.S.
And you generally don't have early meetings
Yes.
because the US team is all watching sports.
Probably.
Anyway, so Warriors Clippers like win and in. Otherwise, you have to make it through the mini playoffs to get into the playoffs, and then the Masters final round. It's
In the spirit of this podcast, are there any Korean players in the Masters?
I believe there was. I don't know his name. I see the Korean flag on the leaderboard, roughly like in 10th to 20th place, something like that. I think there was one or two.
Is he Tom Kim?
I don't know if it was Tom Kim. No, I believe the last name was Im. Some Momo Im, right?
Are we still smashing the LPGAs though?
I don't know.
Not
Yeah.
anymore. The legacy has ended.
No, I believe there's always a couple top pro. I'm not a huge golf fan, right? But I'm just very casual. But I do think there's always a Korean flag when I see the leaderboard.
Ah,
But it's not like all Korea like it was in the early 2000s.
got
Let's
it.
say.
Got it. By the way, Tom Kim, I think he's like by far the most bilingual person that I've ever seen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when he speaks English, he just looks like he
Hyoko.
can't even speak Korean. But then when he speaks Korean, it's like he lived here forever.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm sure. I don't know. Do you happen to know his background?
No. I think he's just gifted in language. Whoever's that bilingual, I think. Yeah.
Anyway, wait. Are you gifted in language, June?
No, I think I'm like not at all. Not to that level of Tom Kim.
I see. So anyway, yeah, it's I won't even get into it, but Rory McIlroy, he's famous for he's incredible, right? But he's famous for kind of choking under pressure.
Oh, is
Like
he?
he doesn't do well down the stretch. And sure enough, he had a
Makes me
huge.
like him better.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I feel bad for him.
Like the human aspect.
I know, but it's so painful to watch. Like even today, he had a huge lead. Then he really messed up in the last 4 or 5 holes.
Yeah.
Epic collapse. Then it looked like he was going to gather himself. Then he didn't quite get it.
Oh no.
I really hope he wins, gets over the hump, defeats his demons, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I'm missing for this.
Is
Anyway,
Tiger Woods playing?
no,
He made a comeback, right? For some game. He
he
didn't
he,
win.
he had a no he had a major win. I want to say 2019. Let me look it up really quick. I think he won the 2019 Masters. Maybe was his last major win, but
2019. Was that before or after the accident?
yeah, he won in the 2019 Masters, so that was his last major championship win. And I don't know if it was his first come from behind win, but he was always famous for building a huge lead in the first 3 rounds and basically not surrendering it in the final one. But yeah, that almost anyway, kind of the opposite of Rory. Who always chokes it away. But yeah, Tiger Woods last one, and I'm surprised I knew that. Again, I'm a casual golf fan.
You're a casual fan of every sports, I guess.
No, I don't really follow hockey. Although, okay, we have to give it up
If
for
you-
my hometown favorite.
Wait, if you mention hockey, it already means that you're very like well, you know all the sports almost. Or maybe
I
it's because
see.
it's bigger in the U.S.
It's the 5th. It's number 5 behind MLS. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Football number 1, basketball number 2,
Baseball.
baseball number 3.
Soccer.
Actually, baseball might be 3, but 2 or 3, I don't know.
And then
Now
soccer.
soccer's making a crazy run because of
Yeah.
Messi and all that.
Yeah.
And then hockey. Yeah. June, before we go on, sorry, since we're talking about sports,
Okay.
I have to announce. I want to give some props to our hometown, my hometown. I can't say my. Our hometown hero,
Whoa. Wait,
Alexander Ovechkin.
you guys never say our. Does this mean
We
something?
say our,
You would more naturally say my hometown.
but I'm really not a hockey fan.
Okay.
But I just know that Alexander Ovechkin, aka Ovi, just passed Wayne Gretzky recently on the all-time scoring goals record. He anyway, he has the record now for goals scored in hockey. So Wayne Gretzky is like, he's like the GOAT of hockey, I believe. I think he's not popular right now in Canada for
Yeah.
political reasons. I'm not sure about that. But anyway, yeah, Alexander Ovechkin just passed him. So he now holds the record. A lot of people thought this record was never going to be broken. The last time I felt so much pride over, DC, Maryland, Virginia area sports player was Cal Ripken, aka the Iron Man, 2131, when he passed the record for consecutive games played
Yeah.
in baseball.
I
That
lo-
record will never be broken, I believe.
I love how you recite names as if like I would recognize them.
Cal Ripken Jr.? I thought you might. No.
Oh, zero.
I think this Alex Ovechkin versus, again, I'm not a hockey fan. I've only seen maybe 2 hockey games to completion in my life from start to finish, but I think it's very much a Michael Jordan versus LeBron James thing where I know people might say Mario Lemieux, like throw out some other names, but I think Wayne Gretzky is known to be the greatest of all time. But Ovechkin just has played for so long, so consistently at such a high level. It's like his peak was not there, but the longevity makes up for it. So I think it's very much like a Michael Jordan versus LeBron James thing. Because a lot of people don't even think Ovechkin was the best player of his generation. I think Sidney Crosby, Sid the Kid. I don't know. This is all I know about hockey. I'll stop. But anyway, just wanted to give it up for our hometown hero from DC.
This is probably how you feel like when I start reciting like architects' names. This is like one thing that I'm curious about is like, you know how like depending on the sports, the race ratio is very significant.
Yeah.
From what I hear, a lot of those names sounded white, right?
Yeah.
So why is hockey predominantly a white sports?
I think with a lot of things in general,
Yeah.
it's just a numbers game. How many people play? Like, what is the funnel from everyone's playing it to the next level? And like, how can you go up to the being at the top level?
Yeah.
Just like, soccer is dominated by like, is it?
White.
I was going to say Hispanics, but that's not true. Just like,
White Europeans.
oh, is that true? No.
Huh?
Pele. I was going to say like South American.
Oh yeah, it's like a different genre of soccer almost.
Oh, is it?
Like they call it like the samba soccer.
Oh, you know more than me about this. Yeah.
Yeah. There's like the South American style and the European style, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Messi is.
He's South American,
Yeah.
white, Argentinian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But I think a lot of the greatest in soccer do come from South America, right?
Not necessarily.
And Europe equally.
I think so.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I just think it's a numbers game. And so to answer your question, just more white people play hockey. And so I think it's nothing more than that.
I see.
Yeah. Well, I feel like an intro is kind of relevant. News is,
Yeah.
weather is news related. Current sporting events is news related.
Wait, also it's cherry blossom season. We have to
it is
mention
cherry
that.
blossom
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
But they got wiped out yesterday and
I
the day
know.
before by the wind and the crazy weather.
Still, like I can see some of them still there.
Yeah, but if you look at them up close,
holding
it's
on
kind of
strong.
sad. Yeah,
Oh, see,
the leaves are all kind of sad.
it always gives me sad vibes.
I'm just glad we got to enjoy them before. Yeah.
Oh, I met your family the other day.
Yeah.
In the Bokgot area. Yeah.
Yeah, they're always excited for Goyangi Samchun to come by.
I saw like the dad version
Of me?
Daniel getting destroyed by 4 kids. Hair all over the place. Like literally at one point you had like 3 kids on your body.
Yeah. Standard, June. Standard. I'm just going to enjoy it while I can because soon enough...
They're all so
won't want-
adorable though.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I think my kids are all very adorable.
You know what I really appreciated? Maybe it's like you said it's like survival tactic.
Mm.
It's because you have like a lot of kids, and I think this is something that Grace mentioned in our previous episode. Because like you can't really take care of all 4 kids at the same time.
Yeah.
I love the fact that like when like your third child was like out there alone, like doing her own stuff, and both of you didn't really care. You and your wife. I mean, I know that you cared, but like in like some farther distance, right? Which like Korean
Choose your words
parents would,
carefully, June.
Korean's parent would never do. I was like, oh, is she okay?
Yeah.
Being there alone, but like then you guys were like handling each like the other 3 kids, which I appreciated, by the way. Yeah.
What's interesting is that I think this is very Korea specific for us because we know how safe it is here. Yeah,
Ah.
we would probably be very different in the U.S. Maybe not so different. You know,
Yeah.
parks are generally a safer place, but yeah, I think being in Korea gives us a lot of peace of mind to let them like kind of wander. And the rule is like you have to be within eyesight, and if you can't see us, then you're too far.
It's so ironic because I think it says a lot because in a country where it's so safe that you would feel this way, but at the same time, I think it's where the parents are so anxious about child safety
In Korea,
in Korea.
they are.
Yeah. You know how like they really prefer schools to be within walking distance from their apartment, but
Yeah,
not
yeah.
only within walking distance, they prefer that there are no crosswalks. As if like if you cross a road, they'll like probably die
I see.
almost.
No, I mean, to be fair, it's the same in the US. They are very mindful of through traffic.
Yeah.
And, you know, it is a risk. I think in Korea, that's probably the only sorry, I shouldn't say only. The most dangerous thing is streets. Yeah. Or crazy like electric scooter riders on the sidewalk. My kids have definitely almost gotten mowed down. But yeah, anyway.
Okay.
But yeah, it was fun to hang out with you and enjoy the cherry blossoms before the weather
Yeah.
destroyed them.
Okay.
Now we can
Enough
formally
with the
move on.
intro. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to intro the topic?
Yeah. So today we're doing one of our regulars, recurring episodes.
It's been
And
3 months.
It's been three. Oh, has it been exactly 3 months?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
I remember because the last time we recorded a news recap was literally the day before or morning of. I think the day right before Trump was inaugurated.
Okay. So we knew that he got elected.
Yeah, it was the day before he took office.
I see.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So today we're gonna do another news episode, and the last time it was from, anyways, up until December of 2024.
End of January.
Oh, to end of January 2025. Yes. So yeah, that title was complicated. So we're doing February, March, April news cover.
Yeah, ish, because
Yeah.
it
There are a
is
lot of news.
officially it's April 14th as of this recording.
Yeah.
It's been a crazy 3 months.
Where should we start?
I don't even know.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Yeah. So a lot of news in Korean local news as well as like American news,
Yeah.
aka the world news.
So true. Yeah. I think we have to start with the impeachment.
Okay. Yeah.
Which impeachment, you might ask? Just kidding.
So Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol was removed from office following the Supreme Court's verdict or judgment happened last week, was it? Because I said that it happened like it's gonna happen 3 hours after.
Yes,
this
you're right. It was
recording or something.
nine days ago.
Yeah. So there were a lot of, I think, anticipations, expectations, and like fortune tellings.
Fortune tellings.
Yeah, like the mudangs come up and say what's gonna happen.
Oh,
Whatever.
really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Of like whether he's gonna get impeached or not, and like everyone was like, weighing in because there are 8 justices.
There's 8?
Yeah.
How can you have an even number?
Oh, there's supposed to be 9, but one hasn't been like appointed.
Oh, wow.
So that of itself was a very huge controversy.
Yeah. How can you
Yeah.
go into this knowing that there's an even number of justices?
Yeah. So
Interesting.
that was a huge controversy in this whole process. Anyways, so people were weighing in and doing like researches and like what are their political views and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it was like 8-0.
Oh,
and I think
wow.
they
Unanimous.
and I think they intentionally do this.
Ah, yeah. No
So-
controversy.
Yeah, so that it doesn't leave any controversies. It happened the same with the former president Park Geun-hye's impeachment. It was 8-0. Yeah, so he got removed from the office.
That's so interesting, by the way.
What is?
In the US, I think they'd almost always do it like 5-4
Ah.
just to make it seem like it was close.
Oh,
That's
really?
interesting. I mean, it might just
Yeah.
work out that way, right?
Yeah.
But because balance in the Supreme Court is important, which is its own topic, but yeah.
I believe that the aftermath is going to be very different if it were to be like 5-4, right?
Or
'Cause
5-3.
it only gives more proof that it's a very controversial subject. But it makes me think. I actually thought about the exact same thing yesterday. Although, like, I think it was a very political movement of the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And, like, it makes me wonder how political they should be. Whether they should just be very objectively, like, personally making those choices.
Yeah.
Like, whichever the consequence might be.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I appreciate their movement because I, if you can remember during our last recording, I said regardless of what the result it's gonna be,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a crazy 1
Yeah.
month.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, I think maybe the 8-0 judgment played a role, but it's not as bad as I thought.
Yeah.
I think people are just moving on to the next phase, which is the presidential election.
Runoff. Yeah. Emergency election.
We have so many presidential elections.
But I do have questions
Yeah.
really quickly. In Korea, is the Supreme Court appointment for life?
No,
Oh, there's a term.
because that was also a controversy. Because I think if they delayed this judgment by a month, then like 2 of them are gonna get retired,
Rotating. Oh, wow. Yeah.
and then they have to appoint 2.
That's its own
Yeah,
process.
it's gonna be another like political turmoil
Do you happen to know the term length for a Supreme Court justice in Korea?
in Korea.
Yeah.
Probably not that different from your normal like government worker.
Oh, aren't those for life? Government workers?
No, it's like 60 or 70 or something. 65-ish?
Oh, there's an age limit.
Yeah, yeah.
So you have to retire by that age.
Yeah, yeah.
That makes so much sense.
Yes.
Why should 80-year-olds be in office?
In the US, right? That's so weird. That's like one of the things that
Wait, I never even heard it. That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't politicians be asked to retire when everyone else retires? That would solve so many things.
Yes.
It's so obvious.
Well,
But yeah, in the US, the Supreme Court justices are appointed for life.
I know.
So you got really old people
It's so
who may
weird.
not be all there mentally determining the fate of these things, but
It's not only the justices, right?
correct.
Yeah.
But I was gonna ask though, the balance of, I guess, political leanings in the Supreme Court. It's such a huge controversy in the U.S., like stacking the Supreme Court with,
Yeah.
more conservative justices because it's for life.
Yeah.
The stakes are so high
Yeah.
that it got very much like gamified in a sense. So yeah, it's really bad.
What's the
And sorry, to be clear, I just wanted to clarify earlier. I don't think the justices like confer and say, okay, let's make it 5-4 to be close. I just think it's always close because it's a byproduct of the very nuanced balance, let's say, and
see.
important balance of the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
That it's always kind of equally balanced between conservative and progressives.
I see.
But to clarify your point, do you actually think the Korean justices confer and say, well, if it's 5-3, let's just make it 8-0 so that
Yeah, I
there's
think
no...
that's exactly what they do.
See, again, I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I think ideally you would just be transparent and
Yeah.
just to say, okay, it was 6-2,
Yeah.
it was 5-3,
Yeah.
and just not try to game things that way.
That's what I was referring to, like that. I appreciate their political movement because it's such a heavy topic
Yeah.
with so much consequences. But then it makes me wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what's the quote unquote justice behind justices having lifetime terms?
No idea. No. I can't think of a good reason. Yeah.
Can I say one very controversial
Sure.
opinion? I think they could be all replaced by AI.
Oh, wow. I think that's very controversial.
Yeah. I think so.
Why? That's the law. I think a lot of law is very ripe for AI replacement because so much of it is based on precedent, right? Case
Yeah.
law, etc.
Yeah.
But it's always the first case making that precedent that's almost even the most important ruling. And that's something I don't think AI would be good at. Yeah.
Making that precedent.
Establishing the precedent, right?
But it's based on past precedents, which AI is very good at.
Oh, every new ruling.
Yeah.
But that first ruling that is establishing the precedent, I don't necessarily want AI making that call.
But isn't that also based on like constitution?
Correct.
And that's all data.
But it's interpretation. Yeah.
I mean, AI can interpret things. I don't know. And it's going to be controversial in which who prompts those AIs.
Yeah,
Maybe the
or
justices are the ones
behind
who
the scenes.
prompts.
Or specifically the bias in the model, right?
Uh,
Because there always is bias in there based on, but humans are biased too, you could
that's
say.
what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Anyways. Well,
Okay, where are
to
we
be
at?
clear, I'm what I'm trying to say is not now, but we're getting very close that the AIs can replace the. I don't know.
I am a big fan of human plus AI. So let them use AI to be more efficient, but I still want humans there. I don't know why. I'm not quite there yet with AI. Maybe because I know how much ChatGPT hallucinates. Yeah. Oh, God. One of my most common use cases of ChatGPT is when my kids are bored and I prompt it like, "Hey, give me trivia based on, the Wings of Fire for a 10-year-old and 8-year-old with easy,
Easy.
medium, and hard
Uh,
difficulty. Give me the answers as well." And, honestly, it's wrong so many times.
is it?
Yeah. So, yeah.
But the hallucination factor is getting drastically. It's improving drastically day by day almost. Cause like I can remember even like 2 years ago,
Yeah.
it was almost like non. You couldn't really use it for factual stuff, right? But nowadays, I almost tend to trust whatever ChatGPT says.
Yeah, I mean it's
Yeah,
still definitely hallucination.
yeah.
Even this is very on topic. Even a couple weeks ago, I think I said, where is the movie quote Get Down from by Arnold Schwarzenegger? And it said it was from The Predator, but it was
But
from Terminator. Yeah. Anyway,
interesting.
let's see. Okay, so president was impeached. When was the last time the Korean president was impeached?
I think it was like 2016-ish. The past President Park Geun-hye,
Oh, so not that long ago.
not that long
I
ago.
see.
Yeah, so this is a sad, tragic part of Korean political history. Is
Yeah.
that like, or like modern political history? Most past presidents either go to jail or commit suicide or get impeached
Yeah.
and or yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people see this as, oh, Korea's democracy is working, it's healthy, but at the same time, I think it can go too far the other way,
Yeah.
where nothing gets done,
Yeah.
everything's just about revenge or blaming the person in office,
Yeah.
and so I think it's a very tricky thing to navigate.
Yeah.
In a sense, like America's actually hasn't removed the president in my lifetime, is my understanding. Oh, we should clarify that. Vocabulary. Impeachment in America, I think its definition is the House of Representatives votes in favor of impeaching the president, which just means accusing them
Yeah.
of something. And that's happened, Donald Trump, it happened twice during his last term, and then happened to Bill Clinton before that. And then the Senate, there's hearings, and then the Senate votes on whether to actually remove the president or not. And in the past three impeachment trials, two for Trump, one for Clinton, the Senate has not. They've been acquitted, so they actually haven't been removed.
Yeah.
And I think, look, I don't think America's democracy is super healthy either right now. Actually, probably something I'm most pessimistic about. At the same time, I think a lot of times the Senate vote to me reflects the thinking, okay, they did something wrong, but the opportunity cost of actually removing him
Yeah.
is so high,
Yeah.
right? Like you have to do some sort of like someone, maybe the vice president takes over, everything's a scramble, the nation loses trust, whatever. Look, it's not perfect either,
Yeah.
but there's a huge opportunity cost
Yeah.
to going through with that. And that's what I think a lot of times acquitting them of impeachment is actually reflecting.
Yeah.
Okay, you recognize you did something wrong.
Yeah.
Is it actually enough to remove him from office, knowing everything else that comes with that? And so when I see what's happening in the Korean, political system and the democracy, to me, it seems like that cost is not being weighed as highly. Like, sure, okay, the president did something wrong,
Yeah.
maybe even illegal. Maybe they're doing a terrible job. But if they actually get impeached, everything else that comes with that, which maybe you could describe right now what's going to happen in Korea, I don't know. It's almost chaotic, right? And is it going to be any better now, right? And so I think that's where it's like, is what's happening to Korea and every past sitting president then going either impeached, committing suicide, or being in jail. I don't know. It feels like it might be too much, but I'd love to hear your thought on that.
Yeah, I don't know if I can like effectively reflect the general Korean sentiment of this, but I have pretty similar feelings. I think it's because the past like 2016 or 17-ish Park Geun-hye impeachment set a very bad precedent. Regardless of, independent of whether we think that she was worth being removed from the office or not, but like that precedent made it like people think that it's like easier to get someone impeached maybe because they already experienced it, so they know how it works, so it's much more accessible to them in their mental model, I guess, right? So that part I think is a problem. And one of the issues, one of the problems that the current, like the recent president claimed, the reason why he declared martial law is because of that, like that opposing party.
Yeah.
There are like so many impeachments, and so I think democracy is not perfect. It has its flaws, but I also think that democracy is just a tool for a society to use,
Yeah.
and you have to use it gracefully. For instance, like I appreciate that the U.S., albeit the political turmoils, they never had actually removed the president from the office. I know for a fact that, for instance, President Nixon, he was on the verge of getting impeached, but then like they convinced him to just step down rather than make
Go
him
through
impeached
that.
because they understood the weight of a president getting removed from the office.
Yeah.
But now it's becoming almost too easy for Korea. Because like whatever the president does, the opposing party starts mentioning the word impeachment.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like uh, yeah. It's like almost a threat,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, don't do anything we wouldn't want you to do, otherwise
Yeah.
we'll just impeach you.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be clear, I'm not trying to make any political statement.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not trying to say that he was like worth being impeached or not worth being impeached. I'm trying to be very politically agnostic here, but yeah, I think there are a lot of heavy consequences that follows impeachment. Yeah.
I guess just formally, what's going to happen? There's going to be an emergency election in 1 month. Anyone can run, or
Not necessarily in 1 month because
Okay.
it's happening in early June.
okay. So let's see. This happened early April.
Yeah.
So 2 months.
Yeah.
So 2 months to. How's it going to happen? Everyone. I don't. Does Korea have the same two-party system? So basically, each party has to put forth one candidate, or is it open election? Anyone can run.
Depends on the internal policies of the party, I think. Yeah. I'm not very familiar with the two-party system.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a consequence or if that's like a system.
Got it.
Yeah. But it is pretty much two-party system
Yeah.
as a result, I think. So they
saw-
have to run the what's that called?
Primaries.
Yeah,
or,
the internal election. Yeah.
The mini runoff.
The mini runoff. Yeah.
I did see a headline. The Seoul mayor is not going to run.
He declared, yeah.
Okay. What about that controversial candidate from the opposition party?
Oh, the leader of the opposing party?
Yeah.
He's definitely going to run.
He's gonna run.
Yeah.
Okay. So now they're trying to.
All
the
the
incumbent.
all the controversies that he's making is because he wants to run for president.
Okay.
Because he doesn't want to get convicted.
Convicted.
Yeah. And because if he does, he can't run
He
for
can't run.
president.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the.
Ooh, I'm wearing like a very political state of color. My sweater color has nothing to do with my political views, by the way.
Okay. So
I should have worn something like you.
the recently impeached president's party, they're basically trying to figure out who to put forth as their candidate.
Yes.
And the Seoul mayor was in that party.
One of the very, I think, promising candidates.
But
Yeah.
he's not going to run in this emergency.
That's what I
runoff.
heard. I only read
saw
the
the headline.
headline.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So now the opposing party, they already had their candidate who was under investigation for something. But okay, so they're going to go with him.
I'm pretty sure.
They're not going to have the trial for him finish first.
that was the whole purpose of all the controversies. Yeah.
Oh, this is
They
wild.
even impeached the prosecutor who was investigating him to delay the
Come
trial.
on. I
They
mean,
did.
I hate
Yeah.
laughing about this, but
Yeah.
it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Impeach, impeach,
Yeah.
impeach. You're
Yeah.
out, you're out, you're out.
Yeah.
Honestly, Trump is doing something very similar. He's firing anyone who opposes him.
Yeah.
Dude, they sent JD Vance to Greenland, and apparently the person in charge of the US military base or whatever in Greenland disrespected JD Vance. So they fired that person?
How did he disrespect him?
I don't know. They said something like, I don't know why you're here. And then June, the NSA, deputy, what is it? Director of the NSA, four-star general, out of nowhere, fired. I think because he wasn't like doing whatever Trump wanted. That is very scary. It's almost the inverse of like the Senate or the House, Congress impeaching the president for anything. Trump's just firing everyone, anyone who disagrees with him. That is so scary.
It's so scary that he is able to.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That there's nothing stopping him from doing that.
I wanted to bring this up earlier because some of the comments on one of our previous episodes, I think made me realize maybe Koreans weren't clear on just how much power the president has right now.
Yeah.
Because when I said executive order, really it's something that the president signs and puts it has to happen, but there's no vote on it.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
It's crazy.
I don't think that happens in Korea. I
Yeah,
don't
it
think there's
shouldn't
like,
happen.
Yeah. Or like that is very limited.
Limited.
Yeah.
So the reason why, again,
You guys have to fix your constitution or something.
God, there's so much. I told you the one thing I'm very, very pessimistic about is the U.S. politics. I think in general, systems and hierarchies, when there's a power differential, they're always going to end up in some sort of corrupt state.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, my understanding is, again, ever since 9/11, George Bush basically declared some sort of emergency wartime thing, and then started signing a lot of executive orders. And ever since then, ever since 2001, these were supposed to get wound down when the wars ended, right? Iraq, Afghanistan, whatever.
Yeah.
But they never did. And so ever since 2001, the power of the executive branch with these executive orders, the amount being signed, they've just been going up and to the right.
Yeah.
So it's in a really bad place. But again, who's gonna? Yeah, I mean the checks and balances. I'm not sure is working right now.
Yeah.
Because the Republican Party controls all three right now, basically. So it's in a really bad place.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's very scary.
Like the thing about the tariffs, right? I think most Korean people are very surprised that the president can just do that with like kind of not accurate math. Because like all we care about is the tariffs getting affected for Korea
Sure.
in
Yeah.
Korea, and they like announced 24%, and then in some other document it said 26.
Did
I was
it?
like, yeah. I was like, what is it, 24 or 26? And they were like, it's 26, but then they changed it to 24 or something.
Also, the way the math was done on
I
these
know,
tariffs, it's so
very
silly.
stupid, right?
Yeah, there's no.
Yeah,
It's just being presented factually incorrectly.
yeah,
Yeah, they're basically taking the trade deficit and some formula based on that
yeah,
is the tariff, but
I
it's
know.
not. Anyway, it's just
yeah.
the whole thing is a little bit suspect. So
And they were like playing the silly game with China of like, oh, we're gonna do like
yeah, it's a game of chicken they call
Yeah.
it. Basically, who's gonna flinch first?
at the moment it seems like China is kind of winning
I really don't know. Yeah.
because he stepped back. Trump.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. He was like, oh, I'm gonna postpone the tariffs for
90-day hold for
Yeah.
everyone but China.
But also he kind of stepped back on certain items.
Oh, did
like
they?
smartphones, electronics.
Oh, okay,
and,
okay,
like,
okay.
Whatever.
For China too.
I think so. I'm not sure. It has to be for China too, because that was the whole point.
Okay.
Because like like people were panic buying iPhones.
Oh, really? Before the price went up by $200?
Because there were speculations that it's gonna go up to like $3,000 for an
Oh my
iPhone.
gosh, yeah. Versus what, like 2,000 now? 1,500?
Well, yeah, if you put it that way, it's already very expensive.
But still doubling the price effectively.
Yeah, so they were panic buying.
What a disaster.
I've heard like car manufacturers or people like Trump, I think he was saying that, oh, you can just buy American cars now
Yeah.
because it's gonna be cheap
Wait,
or
are we
whatever.
going into tariffs right now?
Naturally, we can.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I think yeah, we can't go too long for each
Yeah.
topic. Yeah.
But okay, sorry. I just want to make sure. Are we wrapped up with the Korean impeachment?
Yes.
Emergency runoff, 2 months, 1.5 months from now.
Yeah. It's gonna be very interesting from now.
I guess my question is, who is the acting president right now
Oh, that's
in
another
Korea?
thing. He got impeached too, right?
Did he?
They impeached the acting president too.
Was it the
The
prime
prime
minister?
minister.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
so who is in charge of Korea
So
right
okay,
now?
the president got impeached, or like he was, whatever. He was not impeached, but not removed from the office.
He was impeached but not yet removed.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so while Korea was waiting for the Supreme Court to decide,
Yeah.
okay.
So the prime minister became acting president,
Okay.
but then they impeached him too.
No vote. Does that have to be voted on by the Supreme Court?
It does.
Okay.
But then they ruled before the president ruling, so
Okay.
that, and they declined. So he came back into the office. So now
Uh-huh.
he's back in the office
So the
as
prime minister
the
is
prime
the
minister.
acting
Yeah.
president.
And
Okay.
he's like one of, also, people are thinking that he could be one of the presidential candidates too. I don't know.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay. So that is who is currently in charge of this country.
correct.
Got it. All right. I mean, June, has your day to day, do you see any change or do you feel like there's any sort of tension in the air, uncertainty, or is everyone just going about their lives?
I feel more of the latter. And this is what I start thinking about when I start thinking about whether politics really matters or not. It definitely
It
does,
definitely does, sure.
but I want to say it does not to the extent of how people think.
Yes, yeah,
Some
yeah,
people
yeah.
who are too invested in politics and try to interpret everything that's happening in society
Yeah.
as politics. I think some people are way too invested in that. Yeah.
So I think that's my general sentiment in America too.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of knows maybe what's happening and
Yeah.
they have an opinion, but life goes on.
Yeah.
Got to go to work. Got to pay your bills. Got to
Yeah.
raise your kids.
Yeah.
Right? Just got to survive. So I think that's where, to me though, that's a very scary place to be in when people feel like more apathetic than anything. It's like, oh, just another day. You know, DC's going to DC, politics is going to be politics. I just need to go about my life. And they've almost given up in that sense, right? Like they don't feel like they have any control or say or ability to impact, right? Politics. It's just like, what can I do? I'm powerless.
Yeah.
Life goes on. They're going to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
I think that's a very scary place to be in.
Yeah.
It feels like that's the one thing where I do feel like Koreans, well, so that's why, June, it makes me a little sad to hear that. Because I feel like Korea hasn't quite lost that yet with its demonstration culture, with all these impeachments. At least they're active
Yeah.
rather than kind of giving up and being passive. But I don't know if that's where Korea's trending towards. Yeah.
I do think politics is very important in sustaining and developing society.
Yeah.
But I also, at the same time, think that very developed countries like the U.S. or the Korea, the societal system is too intricate
Yeah.
and developed to the point where it can still run by itself. Like it can like autopilot without having a pilot for a very long time, kind of.
Yeah, but so scary to think about. And I know it's true. It's been this way for a while.
It
but
doesn't. I mean, to be fair, without politics, it doesn't know where the destination is, but it can still kind of like autopilot
Function,
on
yeah.
because it's like pretty systematically integrated.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't blame the people for being agnostic for politics because if anything, it's the political scene itself making like applying too much fatigue on people that like I don't even care anymore.
I see.
Kind of, yeah.
I mean, that's where I'm at as an
Yeah.
individual.
Yeah. It's too, if you start really caring about politics, then it's
Yeah.
too depressing. It's too stressful, right? You lose hope in like politics and democracy in general almost. So it's kind of like a defense mechanism almost to not care.
What country do you think has it right? Or I wonder if there is a country that has a better balance between like, you know, let's say politics being so active that people have given up, politics being so entrenched and almost feeling like you can't do anything, so you're giving up. I wonder if there's a country that has like a better balance in the middle.
That's a good question.
We don't know because it's
Yeah.
hard to know, but
Yeah. Whatever I say right now, it's going to be very political.
really?
Yeah.
Well, what were we gonna say? We'll cut it out, but China? No.
No. But like,
The Nordic states, like Scandinavia?
well, to be honest with you, I can't really think of any. Like instinctively, I
Yeah.
would say something like Germany, but
Uh,
I'm pretty sure if I know better about German
uh,
politics, they have their own kind of weird stuff going on
I
too.
see.
Yeah.
Before we wrap this up, June, I know I just said like I really respect Korea's demonstration culture, and Americans generally have given up and are apathetic. I have to note, though, I think in the last week or two, there were like crazy nationwide demonstrations happening all across the U.S. Did you see this?
No. But
Sorry, what
I'm
was it called?
but I'm not surprised.
I know. It's called the hands off. I think there were the hands off protests.
Uh-huh.
I don't actually know what that means, but
Oh, like in college campuses and stuff. I
no,
know I
no,
know
no.
I know that there was like a huge controversy in like Colombia.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay, okay.
Have you heard
Man,
of that?
there's so much to talk about. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't want to talk about that.
Yeah. They kicked like some student out or something.
A lot of students are losing their visas. Also, I think I read the US Trump cut off $400 million in funding for research and grants to Columbia University. And they're doing something similar with all of the kind of major universities across the US, which tend to be very liberal leaning.
I think this is the result of
Doge.
Doge, is that what they call it?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
this is actually a bit different.
Because they're cutting off like all the.
Yeah, I don't know if it was done under the umbrella of Doge, but this was very much retaliatory for the pro-Palestinian protests. So, but anyway, yeah, my immediate answer was like, holy cow, the U.S. government's giving $400 million a year to Columbia for research. But then I think my immediate next question was like, oh, what is that $400 million going to? And despite doing some research, I just couldn't find it. I think that's a meta point between the US and Korea. Korean news is always like, whenever I read some of the Korean news articles and headlines, it's like down to every single dollar, every single person. It'll literally say like 216 individuals were accused of this. That level of detail is never given in America. I think, first of all, because we don't have it. But second of all, because of that, the public maybe doesn't demand it. But really, like, my first question when I saw like, oh, $400 million in grants cut off, I wanted to know what it was for. Because I'm assuming almost all of it is research,
Yeah.
right? And that's a good thing. It does seem like a lot.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's like, if you break it down into all the individual grants, I'm sure it's something reasonable. But I literally couldn't find it.
Yeah.
So I'm so frustrated. Maybe I don't know how to find it, how to search it, whatever. But if I can't find it, I suspect most people can't find it.
Yeah.
So I just want some transparency.
Yeah.
That's what I really want. And I think that's what Doge was going to try to do.
Yeah.
Whether it's actually doing it or not, I think most people would agree
Yeah.
it's not doing a great job of it. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Basically, what they're claiming, Doge is claiming, is that it's exactly what you said. It's not transparent. They don't know where their money's going. And the process in which they apply for these fundings is so kind of sketchy.
Yeah.
You can just like write whatever and they'll just like shoot money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I heard that's what's wrong with a lot of academia and research in the US today. Scientists and researchers are spending more than half their time just writing proposals to get funding. I mean, again, because that's so
Yeah.
important and there's so much money being given out.
Yeah.
At the same time, like, I want them to be spending more of their time doing the research rather than just applying to get money to do the research, right? So, look, I don't know if I'm coming off one way or the other. I think there is incredible inefficiency. I think there's a total lack of transparency. At the same time, I don't think things are changing for the better right now.
Yeah.
So this is why I'm overly kind of just overall, very negative and pessimistic. I think the systems and the powers at play are just too deeply entrenched, and there's very little change that can actually happen. So, yeah. Just to wrap up, though, yeah, whether I believe in the protests or not, I'm just happy to see kind of a nationwide collective effort. I believe in all 50 states, millions of people actually protesting.
Are they?
It was that, at least I was like, oh, that I think is peaceful demonstration. I think is a sign of a healthy country and democracy. And I think the last time I saw this level of kind of nationwide collective protests. Were in the, what was it, Flynn, Black Lives Matters. Who was it? Oh my God, I forgot his name. But it was back with the BLM protests. Unfortunately, those became quite violent. As far as I know, this hands-off stuff, the protests that happened more recently, remained pretty peaceful nationwide. So I'm just happy to see protests happening. I think that's a healthy sign.
Okay, let's move on to the next topic, which I think again, all of these topics are very tragic for some reason, but it's a very tragic incident in Korea, but also I think it's somewhat very symbolic, so I think it's very interesting.
Okay.
I want to talk about the wildfires that happened in the North Gyeongsang province, which I think is the biggest wildfire to ever happen in Korean history. So we've never experienced this scale of a wildfire ever,
Yeah.
so which was very shocking to the Koreans. So it happened in March 2025 as a result of this wildfire. I think it happened in like Uiseong. Not sure. It's somewhere in North Gyeongsang-do, which is somewhat close to my hometown. And so I appreciate there are a couple of people
Who reached out?
who reached out saying if my house is okay. Yeah, my parents are fine, by the way. But anyways, it started from there, and it somewhat happened simultaneously in different regions as well. So it wasn't just like one starting point and it just spread out. As a result of this, 27 people died, and some tens of thousands of people have evacuated. And now, yeah, as of now, I think it's the fire ended, but it did destroy not only like the mountains and the forests, but also some very important national treasures.
Yeah. One temple, right?
Yeah, the temple. But what I really wanted to talk about in this is that the Indonesian sailors there was news where Indonesian sailors that saved a lot of people voluntarily.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sailors.
Yeah. And this is so symbolic. It's because one of the reasons that they're claiming that the wildfires started and couldn't be contained very early on is because a lot of the wildfires control is being done by volunteers in the 시골 areas. And the volunteers are obviously very old people. It's because the population in the 시골s are very old, right? And this is one very symbolic moment of Korean like demographic status right now, is that it's getting so old, and also like the very soul-centric thing. Like people, like the cities outside of Seoul are very, very old, right? And that plus the declining birth rate, and so there's no workforce there. So a lot of like foreign workers come in to work there. And so I'm imagining if you go to Shigors, it's all like very old Korean people with like young foreign workers together. And so I think it was the reason why I'm saying that it's so symbolic is because the wildfires couldn't be contained early on because of the very old workforce. But then it was like the young foreign workers who came to the rescue almost.
Yeah.
Can you see like that kind of?
Oh, yeah. You're saying the wildfires could almost be symbolic
Yeah.
of the declining birth rate
Yes.
and the aging population
Yeah.
in Korea.
Yeah.
And it's the young, let's say, migrant workers
Yeah.
and or immigrants,
Yeah.
foreigners coming to save
Yeah.
Korea
Yeah.
from the wildfires. I like that.
Yeah. Thank you for summing it up so beautifully. That's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah. Very symbolic.
It
Is
is.
that, I mean, did that make headlines in that way, or is that just your interpretation?
It's my interpretation.
Yeah. That's very deep, June.
Yeah.
We should we should make a YouTube video countering.
And so I know that like some like Korean people, sometimes they look down upon like foreign workforces and stuff like that. But I think in the status we are at for like the Asian population, also declining birth rate, I think that's something that we really shouldn't look down upon and almost appreciate. And we have to learn how to, form a society together. And it's inevitable.
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah.
June, so you're saying actually, because I remember the last time we recorded on news 3 months ago, I talked about the wildfires in the US, in Southern California, etc. And you had said, I asked you, has there ever been something similar in Korea, you said no.
No.
So I'm really afraid, did we jinx Korea?
I'm so sorry.
Oh no. Okay, I'm not gonna ask that anymore. That's bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really tragic to hear
Yeah.
about the scale and the scope in Korea. Do you know what caused the wildfires?
Some people claim it started from a 성묘.
What's Sangmyo?
It's like visiting your ancestors' graves. I haven't researched deep enough to see if this is actually a fact, but I know that some people claimed
Oh, so the root cause has not been identified yet.
it could have been. I didn't just
Oh,
do
okay.
deep research. But I saw in like certain headlines that that was kind of the cause of it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Was it high winds too? Wait, so sorry, just to summarize. So people were doing ancestral like visit rites or rituals, sorry.
Yeah.
And they, some
Most of the
incense
times they're in the forest, like mountain
Sure,
areas.
sure,
Yeah,
sure,
yeah.
sure. But what is involved in that would cause a fire to start?
Yeah, maybe high winds.
But they just burn incense, right?
Oh, incense and
Do they actually light a fire, like a bonfire type thing, or?
sometimes they light fire intentionally on grass to keep it, I don't know, to make it clean.
Oh, so you like? Oh, I see, I see.
Yeah.
So they try to start a controlled fire to get rid of all the stuff to make the area clean.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not something I think civilians should be doing.
It's not.
Because yeah, in the U.S., right, it's such a big problem.
Yeah.
And everyone knows there's fires can be healthy for that exact reason. If you light some controlled fires, that prevents the really big, out of controlled wildfires from happening. But yeah, again, in the U.S., it's almost always under these conditions of crazy winds, so it spreads very quickly and uncontrollably. And also, as we know, right, like oxygen, adds fuel to the fire, right? So the winds can make it both grow more quickly and spread faster.
Yeah.
What do you think the fallout is from this?
I don't know. We should embrace the foreign workforce. Appreciate them more.
Okay, so let's not go super deep into it. I think, June, there was a very famous YouTube video around how Korea's doomed or whatever. Yeah.
It was passed on amongst Korean
Oh, it
netizens.
was. Yeah. Several million views, I think. I don't know if it's tens of millions now, but yeah, I think without going all the way deep, super deep into the population crisis and all of that, I was surprised that that video did not reference immigration at all. Because I think with the declining birth rates, the obvious next thing to think about, because to be fair, in America too, if it weren't for immigration, it would also have a declining population.
Yeah.
Like, why doesn't Korea become more immigrant friendly and try to encourage people to come and move here? And that's one way you can maintain the population, maintain the working population without actually Koreans giving birth, growing it more organically, let's say. But yeah, I was surprised that wasn't mentioned. I do think Korea needs to step it up in a sense and be more serious about encouraging immigration to combat the declining birth rates. Because otherwise, I do think the Korean population decline is very concerning. But yeah, it's great I think news articles like this or instances like this that can highlight some of the positives of immigration, that can do a lot to sway kind of public perception about immigrants.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, even myself, I'll just say, there are so many reasons why Korea is not a friendly place for foreigners to come move to and actually stay here, right? I think for a short period of time, it's quite doable, and it is facilitated by the Korean government and the laws. But actually moving here permanently, it's not an easy thing to do, even for someone in, let's say, in my situation. And not to be full of myself, but Korea needs more immigrants like me to consider moving here, staying here, paying taxes here indefinitely.
Yeah.
But it's so unfriendly. And I don't know if we have time to go into all the reasons, but it's very unfriendly.
To begin with, I think there are only a handful of countries in the world in which they're developed enough to have like very high quality workforce to come in then and work there, right? Because for someone who has like very skilled talent and high quality workforce to move to another country to work there, it has to be very advantageous. And there are only, again, only a handful of countries in the world that are fortunate enough to do that. Other countries, the immigration workforce is slightly differently pictured. For instance, like that eerie scene that I saw when I went to Singapore,
Yeah.
where all the quote unquote more colored people are working in like what we call the 3D jobs,
Yeah.
like dangerous, dirty, and difficult. And people are just accepting of that. It almost felt like a caste system, modern day caste system. And so I think Korea has to figure out. We're at like the verge of both countries almost, but I don't want to see. I don't want that Singaporean thing to happen in Korea,
I
though.
see.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's a healthy way of integrating immigrants to a society. But yeah,
Yeah.
and the friendliness factor, I yeah, it's because the society has been so homogenous for so long, using a single language, all growing up in a single culture. I think it's natural that they are a bit more hostile to something that is foreign. But yeah, we have to learn.
To be clear, the friendliness and that culture is not what is making it hard for people to immigrate, I think, and settle here long term.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of other reasons why.
yeah,
And I think the Korean government can do a lot to encourage immigration
yeah,
of both high skilled and low skilled in a sense.
yeah.
The 3D jobs, but also high skilled labor. Yeah, Korea really is in this very unique transition period. Like you said, it went from underdeveloped to developed.
Yeah.
Now, kind of a leader in that
Yeah.
space. So I think it actually can attract talent. Maybe not from the U.S., right? But there's a ton of other countries where it can attract talent from.
Yeah.
High skilled talent, while also being wealthy enough to be an attractive place for lower skilled labor to come in as well, to maybe do some of these 3D jobs. And I guess it's very noble to not want it to become a case system. I will say in America, I never thought of it as a case system. I mean, there are trends, right? If I actually stopped and thought about it, you could consider it a case system. The reason why I never thought of it that way was immigration to the U.S. always felt it wasn't forced. And people who were immigrating there, even if they were low skilled labor, they wanted to be there.
Yeah.
So who am I to stop them from coming,
Yeah.
right? And it does make your life easier in America if the lower class jobs, let's say, are being done by someone, right? And yeah, I think there was a movie I think from the 90s or something. Was it A Day Without Mexicans or something? And it's just like I'm laughing because it feels awkward to say, but it's true. Let's say like in the U.S. one day, every Mexican disappeared, right? All the jobs that society requires to function in the U.S. They weren't being done. Everything kind of went to a standstill, right? And so I think so long as the immigration is not forced, right, and it's done in a systematic way that's tracked, etc., right? I don't know. I just see it as mutually beneficial, both for the people coming into the country and for the country itself. I agree with you. It can't just be, let's say, lower skilled labor coming in. But yeah, I think if there's a good mix of both skilled labor and lower skilled labor, yeah, I think immigration's a good thing. I don't know.
I completely agree with you. I think I'm actually more agreeing upon what you said. The thing is that it's kind of tricky. It's because one analogy that I can make is like towards sex workers. This is the argument that some people make that no one forced them to do that. It's by their own will. It's just the way capitalism works.
Yeah.
But then there's a consequence in which it makes them willingly do that. You know what I mean? No one's technically forcing them to do that, but it's like the structure of society that makes them wanting to do that.
I see.
So I think there should be some governmental regulation, and it is a sad part of capitalism, I think, in a macro scale. So I do agree that no one, like even in Singapore, it's like win-win almost if you think of it in an optimistic way.
Yeah.
No one forced them to do that. They're making so much more money than they can in their own countries, right? But then I don't know, instinctively something feels wrong if you see something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like there has to be a more healthier way of integrating immigrants to a country that is freed from that kind of race, kind of stratification, if you will. Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, my perspective is it does, yeah, I guess it does feel icky
Yeah.
in a sense. But again, I just go back to the principles I stated.
Yeah.
It wasn't forced. It seems to be truly beneficial. So again, U.S. would not be where it is today without immigrants.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the, American dream. Let's say you come in as an unskilled, labor
Yeah.
immigrant, right? But your next generation has all the opportunities of everyone else born in America. And, some can actually live that American dream and rise up the social ladder and rise up the economic ladder.
Ah, interesting.
So-
I've never thought of it in a generational manner.
Yeah.
But if you put it that way, then yeah, maybe the initial phase of immigration would look like that.
Yeah.
But then slowly we'll become more integrated. Yeah. And I think it's only, I don't know, it's beneficial in a lot of ways for Korea because I think breaking out of this homogenous thing could
We'll have
help.
other benefits too.
Yeah. Broadening our perspective, stuff like that.
Yeah. Very personal for me, right? Because, I mean, our family felt like it was the American dream.
Yeah.
Even though my parents came as skilled laborers or whatever, skilled immigrants, they both had, bachelor degrees in the U.S. And got, I guess you would call them white-collar jobs. I personally think their life could have been easier and better had they never left. I mean,
Really?
they left Korea in the mid-70s, right before Korea really took off. And again, comparing my parents' lives to my aunts and uncles and other relatives, I just feel like they could have been much happier and lived an easier life, let's say, in Korea. But again, because of that sacrifice, what they did to immigrate to America and give me and my siblings an opportunity, I'm eternally grateful. Like I think my comparative life, having grown up in the U.S. versus in Korea, is quite different. I think.
What would have been
Yeah.
like in a multiverse scenario?
Yeah, I think about this all the time, Jude.
Yeah. I think about it too.
If you had stayed in America.
Because I think my dad actually got a job offer there permanently,
yeah.
but he chose to leave.
Yeah.
That was like the early 90s.
I think you've shared that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
we
if I
could have
never
been. We could have somehow. Would our paths have crossed? First of all,
left? And we're still doing the podcast as an American.
that's a separate thing.
Yeah.
I would never have done this podcast in America. It's just like my mind shift changes here. Really, it's like why not? Whereas in America, there's a million reasons why not, right? At least for me.
Interesting. I would have thought the opposite
No.
for some reason.
That's its own separate thing
Yeah.
we can talk about later. But I think honestly, June, if I were born and raised in Korea, I mean, ideally, I'd be like a salaryman at Samsung. Just a lifer there.
Doctor.
No, I don't have that in me. But I would have probably be single, no kids, just like commenting on YouTube videos about how Korea's screwed. Oh, really? I'm not joking. And so I'm eternally grateful for my parents having immigrated to the U.S. and given me that chance. But I have to say, for my parents, yeah, I think their life was much more difficult and honestly borderline miserable growing up in the U.S. that way. But anyway, they couldn't have known what Korea would become or what would have happened, right, after they immigrated.
You know what's so interesting? It's because my dad explained the reason why they left is for that exact reason. And I think my dad has less like sacrificial instincts and has more self ego.
No.
Because he always said that like I didn't want to live a second class citizen. And yeah. Anyways.
But sorry, when were you in the U.S.? Your parents had already experienced Korea's boom, right? Miracle of the Han River.
1990?
Yeah. They were, I mean,
Yeah.
the late 70s, 80s was like the heyday for Korea's development.
But
and
still,
progression.
like that discrepancy between how developed the U.S. was and what Korea was
Sure,
was so
even back then.
different. Yeah.
I could see that. I think 90s were a bit mixed. I think people immigrating after 2000, well, that's its own IMF thing, the aftermath of IMF. Anyway, we won't get into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think my parents' generation is very all about sacrifice.
I know.
And just like, never complaining, never caring about themselves, just doing everything for the next generation.
I think because of that generational learning from like first gen immigrants to second gen,
Yeah.
I think people like you have more of that like sacrificial mind ingrained in themselves than like Koreans, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, it was
I
modeled for
definitely
us.
felt that the other day
Oh, wait, when what?
when we were hanging out together with your kids.
Oh.
Oh, that fatherly sacrifice.
June, don't use.
But to be completely honest, I don't see a lot of that in Korean dads.
Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah, although
I
you
would
have
agree.
like you're very different because you have four kids, but still, like having four kids is already a big sacrifice too. Yeah,
It's interesting. I never thought of it that way.
yeah.
It's not a sacrifice to me. But, June, don't use me as the poster child for Korean American success. We have to talk about Johnny Kim.
Wait. Oh, the astronaut?
Yes.
Oh.
So Johnny Kim made huge news headlines, definitely amongst the Korean American population, but I think overall too. He's like a meme. His life is a meme. First of all, he's my year.
Oh, is he?
I have to compete with Johnny Kim. I have to compete with Mark Zuckerberg. Like, these are the people that were born in '84.
Yeah.
Amazing year. I could go on and on. But yeah, Johnny Kim, he was a medical doctor, a Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
Now he is in space. He's had 3 careers and
Yeah.
reached the highest limits of all of them. He's
Crazy.
insane.
Yeah. Crazy.
People like him were like, oh,
You know what they call him in Korea?
what?
엄친아. Do you know what 엄친아 is?
Oh, 엄마 친구
Yeah, 엄마
아들.
친구
Yeah,
아들.
my mom's friend's
Yeah.
son.
He's
just
the
can't
ultimate
compete. He's the
엄친아.
Yeah, he is the ultimate standard.
And,
Against which
and knowing
everyone-
how small Korean society is,
Yeah.
he could technically be your 엄친아 very easily.
When I found out he was my year, I was
Yeah.
like, how do I not know this guy?
I know, right?
Really? Like, the Korean American,
Where is he from?
I believe SoCal.
Oh, SoCal.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
We can cut that out. But yeah, no, this guy is like, first of all, again, that generation of immigrants from Korea to America made all of these Korean American success stories possible. This guy is like, he is it.
Yeah.
Do you know about his backstory though?
No.
Did that not make headlines?
To
in
be
Korea?
clear, surprisingly, his news wasn't as big as you have thought it would be. Yeah.
Huge in Korean American circles.
Yeah.
I followed him on Instagram finally. But I heard of this guy first when he was accepted as a NASA astronaut. Right. But this was like many years ago. I want to
Yeah.
say 5+ years ago. But now he's actually in space. But yeah, I won't go into it because I didn't do full research. But what I read about his backstory, and he has a very tragic childhood.
Oh, he does.
So I think in general, whenever you see like crazy drive and success like this, I think almost always it seems like it falls into 2 buckets. One is like, very privileged, almost like handed on a platter. Like your dad was an emerald mine owner in
Yeah.
South Africa. Or the other way, which is like very tragic. Like they had some huge tragedy happen to them, and therefore like this drive just comes from that. But yeah, he has a very tragic backstory. I encourage everyone, if you're interested, to go look it up yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, but June, this makes me sad. Johnny Kim is like, I guess Korean Americans just don't matter that much to Koreans anymore.
I think so.
I feel like 20 years ago, he would have been like heralded as like, oh, look at this Korean person
Yeah.
accomplishing all these things. But because he's not Korean, I think it doesn't matter as much, or Koreans don't take as much pride as they might have before.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? I think the sentiment has changed a lot over the past like 10 years or so.
Yeah.
For some reason, Korean people started not really caring about Korean Americans as much anymore. I think they sort of drew a line that, oh, they're not really Korean,
Yeah.
kind of. Yeah.
Any ideas or intuition as to what caused that?
One thing comes to mind is that there are a lot of like success stories that are just coming from Korea too. Whereas back in the days, there were like
There weren't as
almost none. So they have to like cling on to the things that they find at least somewhat Korean. Whereas right now, they're like, there's K-pop, like K-dramas and everything
Yeah.
that's very successful.
Yeah,
that
they don't
comes
have
from
to.
Korea. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, necessity.
That's good.
Yeah. I don't know.
It feels like one thing I thought was maybe Korean Americans and Koreans have diverged too much.
Yeah.
Like I think maybe one generational cycle, they're like kind of similar. But now that it's been like 30 plus years since
Yeah.
that wave of Korean immigrants went to America, it's just diverged too much. So I think post 2000, it's just like they're completely different at that point.
And also, I think the volume, right? There's so many
Uh,
success stories now that
yeah,
people can't really follow
track of all of
everything.
them.
Yeah,
Mm, interesting.
yeah. Okay. The next news was this goes into the celebrity business, which was the tragic sequence of stories that started from the actress Kim Soo-hyun, who okay, who unalived herself,
Okay.
and it led to allegations to like this secret relationship that she had with like this A-list actor called Kim Soo-hyun.
A plus list.
A plus
It was
S list.
S list, S
Yeah.
tier, really. It was
Yeah.
the highest paid actor, I think, in Korea before this.
Yeah. I didn't really follow it very closely, so I don't
Me
know
neither.
what's the relationship between why it's related to her suicide.
Oh,
But
okay. Wait, that's the whole meat of the thing.
is it?
I
Yeah.
think they were in a drama before, and she was very young. I want to say 14.
15, 16.
Oh, I don't know if
Maybe it's
Korean age,
14
US
and
age.
yeah, maybe it's US age 14. Yeah.
Definitely the allegations. Okay, okay. Let's just bring. Maybe we can do a quick timeline here, which is we should verify ages, but yeah, they were both filming a some sort of media together, and I think at that time she was underage by Korean standards, which I want to talk about with you in a second. He denies ever having officially dated her while she was underage. But again, this is where the texts surface, which is another thing I want to bring up with you. But after that, I think they did formally date, and was Kim Soo-hyun's his name, right? He, are we allowed to say his name, or are we going to get in trouble by
Oh,
Korean
we're
law?
allowed to
Okay,
say
okay.
his name.
Facts.
Yeah.
He did admit he dated her, but after she was of dating age, and they broke up. Apparently, she had borrowed money from him, and then he was, I think, had sued her or something to get the money back. But anyway, I think many years after their relationship ended, she killed herself on his birthday.
Yeah.
Which is again a very traumatic thing to do. But I think my understanding is that at least the way her family is portraying things is that this was the only way she could kind of get any attention to the matter or kind of get the public discourse going by making that ultimate decision and sacrifice and doing it in such a symbolic way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, again, beyond that, I don't know all the details or where it is. Oh, I think the final thing we should mention is he held a press conference
Yes.
recently
Yeah.
where he was just crying, like, really visibly.
Yeah.
And I think ended it and didn't take any questions after.
Oh yeah, you know very well about this.
I just read headlines.
Uh
And I lurk the K-drama subreddits where, like, stuff gets posted. But yeah, that's my understanding of this whole situation.
So through light research, this all started from an incident, a drunk driving incident back 2022
Oh,
when Kim Soo-hyun, the actress, she was caught on some camera, and I think that's why it became so much of a bigger thing. She like ran into some kind of electrical facility that's on the sidewalk, and that was like caught on camera,
okay.
and it was like, you know, going on the internet and all that.
I see.
And you know how like drunk driving is such a
Yeah,
big
yeah.
thing in Korea, right? So it like somewhat canceled her actress life altogether, and she had to like pay back a lot of money to like the agencies and the contracts she already had,
Yeah.
and that added up being like that amount of money that Kim Soo-hyun 700 million,
That
right?
she had borrowed from.
Yeah, and it seems like she didn't he didn't lend it to her personally.
Uh huh.
She was contracted through Kim Soo-hyun's agency, I think, but I think he technically ran the agency himself.
Okay.
So he's like basically the owner of the agency who paid all that money to the contractors, but then he wanted her to pay it back
I see.
later, but she couldn't. Because like, how could she? Because
Yeah.
like with
Her
that one
acting career
incident,
is now over,
yeah.
and now she's in debt. Yeah.
And so like yeah, going into that story, they figured out that they were actually having a relationship, and then it went And then digging deeper, they realized that it started from when she was a minor.
Underage, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's see. Questions I had about this. Yeah, June, what is the official age of consent in Korea? Is
I
that,
yeah. It says that it's 16 US age
yeah.
that they can have a sexual
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
relationship with an adult. Yeah.
My understanding too is that it was raised pretty recently. So I think in 2017, it used to be 13 years of the age of consent was 13 years old in 2017,
Oh,
which
is
is
it?
very low.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was low by global standards,
Yeah.
especially for a country as developed as Korea. So yeah, I don't know if she was under 16 at the time this happened or under 13 at the time this happened. But yeah, in either case, I think I don't know how old he was at the time.
They're saying so she was 16 and he was 27-ish.
Okay,
Don't know Korean or US age.
sure.
But it definitely goes against the law for today's law standards.
Yeah,
But they also do claim that it wasn't at the time.
at the
Yeah,
time.
so he
Oh,
wasn't
okay,
doing
okay.
anything lawfully wrong.
Interesting.
It was just like morally kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, if okay. I mean, as much as I have issues with a 27-year-old dating a 16-year-old, if that's actually true, like under the law at the time, if it wasn't illegal,
Yeah.
doesn't feel like there's anything there other than like painting him generally as like a predator or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then oh, interesting. Okay, but yeah, I was surprised to learn that it was this young. I guess I don't know what the age of consent is in America. Like I think it's 17, but anyway, yeah, yeah. Is in general like is there a huge stigma against what pedophilia or dating of minors in Korea? It feels like it's a huge deal in the US. And it has, I think, very unintended consequences. But I want to know in Korea, like what the general sentiment is and I don't know how at the forefront of conversations it is.
Yeah, it's generally taken as something very creepy and something
Uh-huh.
that you should never do.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of instances where these people like pay money to minors,
Yeah.
and that is a social problem. I don't know how like extreme how serious it is in the U.S., but it's definitely a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like classic thing you throw at someone like, oh, don't be a pedo or you're a pedophile or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
it's just kind of like, it's seen as really gross, but almost, I don't know. I'd say used casually in a sense.
Ah.
Like, oh, they're just a pedo or like, don't be like that.
Yeah.
For example, a very famous one is Leonardo DiCaprio,
Yeah.
right? He only dates girls who are 18 to 21.
Yeah.
22 is too old.
Yeah, there's like a graduation system, right?
Yeah.
They graduate.
Right? So obviously, again, in a similar vein, maybe not illegal, but definitely kind of frowned upon. And it's like, oh wow, that's creepy. I think one negative consequence of this is, I don't know, any guy who seems to like kids, playing with kids, is good around kids. Even that automatically people are like their radar goes off. Like, oh, is this guy a predator?
Ooh.
Which again, I take great offense to. I think it's sad that there's not many care providers or even teachers as much, right, who are men. I think because of the stigma, like if you're a guy who likes kids, immediately people are going to be, oh, is that guy a pedophile? Which again, I really, really hate this. I don't know if it's obviously the behavior itself is really reprehensible. I don't know if the stigma is warranted, right? So I think that's negative. In Korea, I feel like
It's
if you
less
see
so than that.
yeah, it's less so. I think
Yeah.
if you see a guy who's really into kids, likes playing with kids, or is, let's say in a daycare or whatever,
Yeah.
the stigma is probably like different.
He's a good dad.
Oh,
yeah,
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
think they would immediately associate it with pedo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the negative consequences of this. But I do think the positive side is that like people are so, I guess, what's the right word? Cautious with respect to the potential of it being like a bad relationship or whatever. So,
Yeah.
but there's horror stories of, let's say, people in mixed race families, like a dad with their daughter who's a teenager, like getting the cops called on them because they think it's a pedophile situation or whatever.
Oh, no.
Pedophile.
Yeah.
But anytime a grown adult male is with a teenage daughter who doesn't look like their daughter, let's say, or the age difference is, in either, let's say the father's much older, could be a stepdaughter, whatever. Yeah, that whole situation and stigma, I think, is one of the downsides of this.
Yeah.
But yeah. The other thing I wanted to bring up was the press conference itself and this whole like having a press conference to apologize.
Yeah.
I mean, again, whether you support him or not, I think, and to be clear, I really liked some of his dramas before. I think it's hard to trust or believe a professional actor.
Oh, everyone was saying that. I saw one reels where
Yeah.
they put like background music of like a typical K-drama that
Yeah.
press conference and did it like
It fit perfectly,
yeah,
right? Yeah, I mean, this guy is literally a professional actor at the top of his game. And he's famous for playing these very emotional roles and crying.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe. I mean, whether you want to support him or not. So I just think, we're not going to get into the suicide stuff. We're not going to get into the debt stuff where, if your contract gets canceled, you owe it.
Yeah.
Right? If you want to hear more about this, refer back to one of our earlier episodes. What was the title? What's the euphemism for suicide in Korea again?
극단적 선택, extreme decision.
An extreme decision, I think, is what we called that episode.
Yeah.
Where we explored this topic more deeply. But yeah, I think the underage thing I think was interesting. The press conference was interesting, and then I don't know. Just what is the general sentiment? Is it supporting him? Is it against him?
As far as what I can see, it's not really supportive of him.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think this somewhat relates to cancel culture too. They just want it to go down.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Interesting. The final thing is, I think some of the most important evidence in this case is the screenshots of text messages going back and forth on Kakao Talk.
Yeah.
And it's just a constant back and forth, like, well, those are doctored, those aren't, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I think this is a general question about Kakao Talk, but also I want to know the Koreans' general perception of this. My thinking would be like, okay, Kakao Talk has to have these messages on their servers.
Yeah.
Can't the government or some judicial whatever issue a subpoena or whatever it is, an order, court order to get the actual source of truth of these text messages?
Yeah.
Why is that not happening? It's just the constant back and forth is like, here's a screenshot. Oh, that's faked. No, that's not faked. Here's evidence it wasn't faked. Well, my screenshot says something different. No, yours are faked.
Yeah.
Like, why can't they just get the official text messages from Kakao?
I'm not sure, but they're saving those information in a very privacy safe way with a lot of regulation into like who can have access to that data.
I see.
And I think only in very critical situations the government will ask for that.
I see.
You know, like that famous incident where the U.S. government asked like Apple to give out some data and
and Apple refused.
They didn't.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same situation, and I think it's technically they can. I think because it's not end-to-end encrypted.
Yeah, it's not.
But they can't do it in a very light way. This is, I mean, technically it's just like a personal dispute matter if you think about it.
I see.
Yeah, so I don't think they can actually do that.
And so a court doesn't have the power over Kakao to say like, give us the actual text.
That's what I
messages.
suspect. Yeah.
And if they do, they don't want to use it on something like almost as trivial as this.
Yeah.
Let's see. I see.
That's the last thing that Kakao wants to do, I think.
Yeah, I'd agree. If I were Kakao, I would also not want to cross that bridge of like being able to give away text messages, willy nilly. So
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I think again, this guy was very famous. His dramas are very popular, and so he's like the S tier male actor going down. I think is big news. But again, I would say most people are also now not supportive of him. Yeah. Even if he didn't do anything illegal, his behavior was suspect and kind of, people are not supporting him anymore. I don't know what else to say.
Okay. The last topic, intentionally, we wanted to be a little bit more lighthearted. So I don't know if this is a trend thing or a news thing, but recently there was this explosive trend in social media where everyone was posting and changing their profile picture to, in Korean pronunciation, chiburi. Or this is more the accurate pronunciation, I think. Yeah, chiburi.
I think Americans pronounce it Studio Ghibli.
Ghibli, yeah,
Yeah, or Ghibli.
yeah,
It's a famous, great debate.
yeah, Ghibli styled AI generated images. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's been, as of the recording date, it's been like 2 weeks before where
Uh-huh.
OpenAI suddenly updated their image generation model,
Yeah,
which is like
yeah.
insanely accurate. To be clear, it's just not just Ghibli image generation. It's just like image generation quality in general has like drastically improved. But for some reason,
Just
people
took
just
off.
started
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
doing Ghibli style images, and like everyone was doing it. Yeah, so
Wait, is it actually Ghibli or Ghibli?
I think it's Ghibli.
Ghibli.
Yeah,
Okay.
in
I'll pronounce it
Japanese.
Ghibli then.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Is it GIF or GIF? Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's the same.
What do Koreans use for .gif files?
I think they say GIF.
They don't say GIF
No,
or GIF.
they say GIF.
They literally say GIF.
Yeah.
That's the smartest way to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Anyways, yeah.
Yeah,
We posted a story on a Ghibli style picture of our recording.
yeah, I generated one for my family too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
so cute. Why do you think it was so popular out of like the infinite things that OpenAI can do?
It's so freaking good.
Yeah.
Like it literally, the picture we did for my family, it was my second daughter's birthday. She was holding a stuffed animal, but it wasn't, and it converted that stuffed animal into a, what do you think?
A Totoro.
Totoro.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
It literally converted that stuffed animal into a Totoro.
Yeah.
And the clothes, like my two daughters were not wearing matching clothes. It converted it into matching outfits
Yeah.
that were like pretty similar to what they were wearing. It's just insanely good.
You know what was so crazy is that the amount of reasoning that goes behind this is
Yeah.
because I did one where it was a picture of my friend,
Uh-huh.
but then like in the background, it like there was a signage that says something event
Yeah.
in English.
Yeah.
But his head covered up like half of event, so it's like a bit of ENT at the
Uh-huh,
end.
uh-huh.
But then while generating that Ghibli image,
Yeah.
they slightly altered the perspective so that it
The full
says
word came out.
event
Oh
there.
my
It was
God.
like
It's insane.
crazy.
Yeah. I also asked it to change the background of the picture to something more nature-esque or whatever. It did, like, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's like the culmination of all these technologies finally reaching the point where it just works.
Yeah.
I think that's it. It's just like a magical moment where it's not quite off. There's no six fingers on the hand.
Yeah.
The text is not indecipherable.
Yeah.
It's just everything just works. It's insane. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so cool.
It's kind of, I think everyone's feeling the same. It's so magical,
Yeah.
but at the same time so scary how fast the technology is improving. Because like even like 6 months ago, everyone was like, haha, like AI can't do fingers.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then now it's like perfect.
No, it's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, yeah. You know, I think Korea is one of the more active users of these AIs I've seen in some various articles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's 1 million daily active ChatGPT users in Korea,
Yeah.
which, you know, relative to the population, is pretty crazy.
And I think Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, he like tweeted something saying like chill with the Ghibli
Oh, yeah, yeah,
images
yeah,
or
yeah.
something.
You're melting our servers. Yeah.
Crazy. But it was also interesting because Studio Ghibli is known to be very analog style, intentionally analog, Japanese kind of like
Yes.
craftsmanship
Yeah, yeah,
based
yeah.
studio. And it was juxtaposed by this video that went also viral in social media where the staff of Studio Ghibli showed like this AI generated algorithm where it would depict this like zombie like character.
Oh, really?
And he was showing it to Miyazaki Hayao, who was like
yeah,
the
yeah.
main, the guy of Studio Ghibli, and saying like, oh, like we can do this with AI.
Yeah.
And like basically they were trying to show him to like get praises of like how amazing this is.
Yeah.
But then he was so mad at it.
Yeah.
It was so like his first words were so impressive. He said like this looks like someone drew this who knows nothing about human pain or something.
Yeah.
And he was like
So
so
good.
offended. And he said like we never want to use this kind of stuff in our animations.
Yeah.
which is so ironic, right? While like this Ghibli thing is going so
It is,
viral.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because
It all-
that video of that went viral of him basically condemning or not supporting AI generated
Yeah.
art. That was from before though. That was older archival footage. Not in
Yes.
response to this.
Yeah.
I think we want to be clear. But yeah, I think what if Japan is, let's say, on this end of like not embracing technology, I don't know where America is actually. I think America is somewhere in the middle. I don't think it's necessarily fully embracing, but also not super against it. Where do you think Korea falls though with how it embraces AI technologies and basically,
Oh, I think
yeah,
it's a lot more pro AI or like
yeah, yeah,
pro technology in
yeah.
general.
I get that sense too. Whereas it's like even more so than America, very receptive and adopting of AI. Yeah.
But the sentiment is changing almost every day
Oh, really?
in relation to how good the technology is becoming almost. Like I almost imagine because when you mentioned that it was like an old like the Miyazaki Hayao response to AI was an old archive, I was just imagining in my mind, what if like he's sitting in his bedroom right now saying like, oh, now it understands human pain. We should fully adopt this technology.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's kind of scary.
it is scary.
Yeah, the exponential pace of the technological development, and I like sometimes wonder what like Sam Altman would be cooking in his lab right now, and
Yeah.
he probably already achieved AGI and stuff like that.
Just holding it back.
Yeah.
I personally, ChatGPT is my go-to now for serious translation needs. I think I still use Papago or Google Translate for like one-offs, like simple, just direct vocabulary translations. But anytime I want to do something I feel like I want to really nail and get right in the full sentence,
Yeah.
I just use ChatGPT.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think overall, as like a techno optimist in general, I think America seems or feels like it has the luxury of being in a position where it's so far ahead in the world in so many ways. Everyone's coming after AI and technology in general with legislation and lawsuits and all these things and regulations. And I feel like it's holding America back a bit. This was obviously pre-Trump. Now Trump's much more aligned with basically deregulation or whatever. But I'm bringing this up because I think Korea is not in a place where I feel like it has the luxury of not adopting AI technology.
yeah,
Does that
yeah,
make sense?
yeah.
Right? It can't like think about the morals and ethics.
Yeah.
It just needs to use it and
Yeah.
embrace it to become more efficient,
That's a
to
very good
generate more
point.
revenue,
Yeah.
to become more productive, right? Because of its smaller population and just all of its disadvantages, I guess. Whereas America just has the luxury of being like, regulate that, regulate this.
Yeah.
We need to slow ourselves back, and we can actually think about the morals and ethics of it. So I think that feels like one big difference.
And I think also, especially AI technology is so disproportionately US driven right now that it's also scary that a technology that seemingly could make or break humanity forever is just dominated by one nation almost is
Okay, good.
kind of scary.
Good question to bring up then, June.
Yeah.
Because I think in America, most people would think China versus America is like what it's coming down to. And I think most Americans would believe America is slightly ahead. But I think it's much closer than most people think. How does Korea think about that? Like if they had to choose, let's say, a future where America controls this, or sorry, not controls, but is at the forefront, China's at the forefront, or they want like kind of an equal distribution between the two. Like what is an ideal outcome for Koreans?
To be clear, you're in regards to AI.
Yeah, leading the AI like models and technology and research and development.
I think in terms of technology, I think Korea's always had a sentiment of pro US, especially in regards to whatever versus China, right?
I see. Interesting.
Because we're like longtime allies, and also, it's like the more liberal allies versus the communists.
Yeah.
I don't know. AI and that surveillance ship in China
Yeah.
combined together, it makes me imagine a more like darker future for some reason. Maybe I might be biased.
I think most people think that at first.
Yeah.
Right. Very dystopian future.
Big Brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
As always, that's all we have for this week. Sorry
Yeah.
again for the abrupt end. If you'd like to support us, please consider sharing our content with a friend or someone you think might enjoy us.
Yeah.
Beyond that, you can support us on Patreon. As a Patreon subscriber, you get access to our Discord where you can
Yeah.
discuss the latest episode, connect with other listeners, and propose future episode topics.
Yeah, we can go through Patreons.
Yeah, since the last episode.
Yeah. We have Jihyun.
Thank you, Gian.
Thank you, Jihyun. We have Benedicta.
Thank you, Benedicta.
Thank you, Benedicta. And I think I can read the full name for this. Thank you, Appa's Diary.
Oh, thank you, Alba's Diary.
And then I don't know how, but this person.
It's like first name,
yeah,
right?
Thank you, name first.
Thank you, name first.
Thank you. Okay.
All right, that's all for this week. See you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Do this one.
Yeah, maybe we don't have time for this,
Yeah.
but
I don't think we even have time for an outro.
okay. Well, not even Patreon, or do you really want to run? Let's just do it really
I have
quick.
a 10:30 meeting.
Okay,
Yeah.
speed run.